Imagine having all the talent in the world, yet still failing in life. What if intelligence alone isn't enough to guarantee success? Many people believe that natural talent is the key to achieving greatness, but history tells us a different story. Hard work, discipline, and perseverance often outweigh raw intelligence. Consider the case of a young musician with incredible natural ability. Despite his talent, he never practices, assuming that his gift will carry him through. Over time, those who practice diligently surpass him, leaving him behind. This pattern repeats in all aspects of life. Talent gives an initial advantage, but persistence determines long-term success. Take the story of Abraham Lincoln, who failed in business, lost numerous elections, and suffered personal losses before becoming one of the most respected presidents in history. Despite constant setbacks, he never gave up, continuously refining his strategies and improving himself. Through years of perseverance, he eventually became a symbol of resilience and leadership. Or look at Serena Williams, who, despite natural talent, trained relentlessly every day to become a tennis legend. She faced numerous challenges, including injuries, criticism, and intense competition, but she refused to let obstacles define her. She committed herself to rigorous practice, learning from her defeats, and continuously evolving her game. Through discipline and relentless effort, she cemented her place in history as one of the greatest athletes of all time. Similarly, consider Steve Jobs, who was once fired from the very company he founded. Instead of giving up, he spent years refining his skills and exploring new ideas. When he returned to Apple, he revolutionized the tech industry with innovations like the iPhone, proving that setbacks are merely stepping stones to greater success. These examples prove that success isn't just about what you're born with. It's about how you nurture your skills through effort, perseverance, and continuous self-improvement. True greatness is not a result of luck or mere intelligence. It is the outcome of daily commitment to growth and resilience in the face of adversity. Whether in academics, sports, business, or personal growth, those who apply themselves daily, pushing past obstacles, are the ones who reach their goals. The lesson is clear: talent is only the starting point. Dedication and discipline are what truly lead to success. Think of legendary figures like Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, or Michael Jordan, who was once cut from his high school basketball team. These individuals didn't rely solely on talent. They honed their skills through relentless effort. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His perseverance exemplifies the power of determination and the willingness to learn from failure. Similarly, Michael Jordan turned his early setbacks into motivation, training harder than ever and refining his skills to become one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He once stated, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." These examples show that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a crucial part of the journey. True achievement is built on resilience, learning from mistakes, and maintaining unwavering dedication to improvement. The path to success is paved with setbacks, but those who persist despite challenges ultimately reach their goals. This is the lesson that young Rohan learned the hard way. His journey from failure to success teaches us that achieving greatness is not about being the smartest person in the room, but about making the most of every moment. Let's dive into his story and uncover the true meaning of success. In a peaceful town, a boy named Rohan lived with his loving parents. He was intelligent, quick-witted, and full of potential. His ability to grasp new concepts amazed his teachers and friends, earning him admiration from those around him. Many believed he had a bright future ahead, one filled with endless possibilities. However, Rohan had one major flaw: he lacked discipline and consistency. Instead of dedicating time to studies, he indulged in watching television, playing video games, and chatting with friends. He often stayed up late, neglecting his assignments, and procrastinated on important tasks. His parents frequently reminded him that success is not just about intelligence but also about hard work and good habits. His father, a man who had worked tirelessly to build his small business from the ground up, would often share his experiences with Rohan. "Son, talent alone won't make you successful. You need discipline and effort. I have seen many bright individuals waste their potential because they relied only on their intelligence and refused to put in the hard work." He would recall stories of his own struggles, how he had started with nothing, working long hours, making sacrifices, and facing countless failures before finally building a thriving business. "The world is filled with intelligent people who never achieve greatness because they don't apply themselves. But those who combine intelligence with persistence and discipline are the ones who truly succeed. Hard work will always outshine talent that is left unused." His mother, equally concerned, encouraged him to plan his day wisely, emphasizing, "If you waste your time now, you'll regret it in the future. Time is the most valuable resource you have." But Rohan always brushed off their concerns. "I'll do it later. There's plenty of time," he would reply, believing that his intelligence alone would carry him through. He assumed that last-minute studying would always save him, just as it had in the past. He convinced himself that hard work was only necessary for those who weren't naturally gifted, and that success was something that would come to him effortlessly. The more he procrastinated, the deeper he fell into a cycle of overconfidence and complacency, completely unaware that time was slipping away. This pattern continued for years, with Rohan making excuses instead of taking action. He ignored his parents' advice, choosing temporary pleasures over long-term gains. While his classmates spent time studying, improving their skills, and setting goals for the future, Rohan remained complacent, assuming that his natural intelligence would always keep him ahead. He developed a habit of postponing responsibilities, thinking, "I still have time." When exams approached, he would cram at the last minute, relying on his sharp memory rather than understanding concepts deeply. He avoided difficult tasks, preferring to engage in activities that provided immediate gratification, such as playing video games and watching endless hours of entertainment. Over time, his grades started slipping. What once seemed effortless now required concentration, but Rohan refused to acknowledge it. Teachers who once admired his quick learning skills began noticing his decline and started expressing their disappointment. Some tried to guide him, offering advice and extra help, but Rohan dismissed their concerns. His friends, who initially looked up to him, started surpassing him academically. They spent their afternoons in study groups, helping each other grow, while Rohan continued to indulge in distractions. Rather than reflecting on his habits, Rohan remained blind to these signs, making excuses for his failures. Maybe the teachers were being unfair, he thought. The exams were harder than usual, he reasoned. He attributed his declining performance to bad luck rather than his lack of effort. He convinced himself that success was something that would come naturally, without effort, simply because he was smart. Instead of taking responsibility, he chose to believe that circumstances were against him, failing to see that the real obstacle was his own mindset. But life had other plans. His confidence was about to be shattered when he faced a harsh reality check that would force him to reevaluate everything he believed about success. He would soon experience firsthand the consequences of his complacency and lack of discipline, making him question whether intelligence alone was truly enough to guarantee success. The moment of reckoning was near, and it would change his perspective forever. Rohan, talent alone won't make you successful. You need discipline and effort, his parents would say. But Rohan always brushed off their concerns. I'll do it later, there's plenty of time, he would reply, believing that his intelligence alone would carry him through. Then came the moment of truth. When his school announced the annual exam results, Rohan walked into the classroom with his usual confidence, expecting to see his name among the top scorers. However, as he flipped open his report card, his heart pounded. His vision blurred for a moment as he saw the unthinkable. He had failed in 2 subjects. A cold wave of shock ran through him, and his fingers trembled as he held the report card tighter. The murmurs around him grew louder. His classmates, once eager to seek his advice, exchanged glances and whispered to each other. Some who had once admired him now avoided eye contact, pretending not to notice his distress. His teachers, who had once praised him for his intelligence, now regarded him with disappointment. Their silent judgment stung more than any harsh words could. But the worst moment came when he returned home. His parents, who had always believed in his abilities, took the report card from his hands. His mother's face fell, her hopeful eyes clouded with sadness. His father, usually a man of patience and wisdom, let out a deep sigh and placed a firm hand on Rohan's shoulder. No words were exchanged, but the weight of their disappointment was unbearable. Rohan sat alone in his room that evening, staring blankly at his report card. He replayed every decision he had made, every hour wasted, every ignored warning. The realization hit him hard. His intelligence had not saved him. This failure, unexpected and painful, shook him to his core. For the first time, he questioned everything he had believed about success and talent. Lost and confused, Rohan wandered aimlessly before finding himself in his grandfather's garden, a place of solace and wisdom. His grandfather, an elderly man with silver hair and kind eyes, sat peacefully under the shade of a large mango tree, flipping through the pages of a well-worn book. The scent of blooming jasmine filled the air as birds chirped in the distance. Rohan hesitated before sitting beside him, his shoulders slumped in defeat. The weight of failure pressed heavily on his chest, making it difficult to find the right words. He stared at the ground, tracing circles in the dirt with his fingers, lost in thought. After a long pause, he finally gathered the courage to speak. His voice trembled as he broke the silence. "Grandpa," he murmured barely above a whisper, "I don't understand what went wrong. I have always been a smart student. I thought I had everything under control. I believed that intelligence was enough. So why did I fail? He lifted his eyes, searching his grandfather's face for answers, hoping to find a glimmer of wisdom that could explain the deep disappointment he felt within himself. His grandfather closed his book gently, placing it on his lap, and turned toward Rohan with a knowing smile. The deep lines on his face reflected years of experience, wisdom carved by time itself. He looked at Rohan with a gentle yet firm gaze and said, "Ah, my dear boy," his voice calm but filled with meaning. "Sometimes intelligence alone is not enough. Talent is like a seed, it has potential, but without water, sunlight, and care, it withers away. Success is built on discipline, perseverance, and the willingness to keep going even when things seem difficult." He leaned forward slightly, placing a reassuring hand on Rohan's shoulder. "Let me tell you a story, Rohan. Maybe it will help you understand. It's a tale of two farmers, but more importantly, it is a lesson about life itself." His grandfather closed his book, took a deep breath, and gazed at the horizon for a moment before turning back to Rohan with a knowing smile. "Let me tell you a story, Rohan. It's not just any story, it's one that has been passed down through generations, a story that holds a powerful lesson about life, effort, and the true meaning of success. Maybe it will help you understand." In a distant village, nestled between lush green hills and flowing rivers, there lived two farmers, Ramesh and Suresh. They were childhood friends, growing up side by side, and each inherited equal land from their forefathers. Their fields received the same sunlight, the same rain, and had the same fertile soil. Both men had every opportunity to thrive, yet their lives took drastically different paths due to their attitudes toward work and responsibility. From a young age, Ramesh understood the importance of effort and persistence. He would rise at dawn, feeling the crisp morning air against his skin, and head to his fields with determination. He knew that farming required patience, discipline, and consistency. He meticulously plowed his land, ensuring that the soil was well prepared for planting. He watered his crops at the right time and removed weeds daily to give his plants the best chance to grow. Through his hard work, he developed a deep connection with his land, understanding the needs of each crop and learning how to adapt to changing weather conditions. Suresh, on the other hand, believed that success would come easily. He would often sleep in, missing the crucial early hours of work when the soil was most fertile for plowing. While Ramesh toiled under the sun, Suresh found comfort in the shade of a tree, telling himself that he would tend to his fields tomorrow. But tomorrow turned into the next day, and the next day turned into a week. His land remained neglected, weeds began to overtake his crops, and the once rich soil turned dry and barren. Rather than learning from his mistakes, he blamed external factors, the weather, fate, and even bad luck, for his failure. Ramesh was diligent and disciplined. He woke up at the break of dawn, feeling the cool morning breeze against his face as he made his way to the fields. He plowed his land with precision, ensuring that the soil was well aerated and ready for planting. He watered his crops diligently, checked for pests, and cleared weeds daily. He understood that farming was not just about planting seeds and waiting for them to grow. It required patience, care, and constant attention. On the other hand, Suresh was lazy and careless. He woke up late, often missing the crucial hours of morning work when the soil was easiest to till. He would stretch his arms lazily, yawn, and convince himself that he could always start tomorrow. Instead of tending to his farm, he preferred the comfort of the shade, lounging under a tree and engaging in long, idle conversations with passers-by. His afternoons were spent daydreaming about wealth and success, imagining the abundant harvest he would have without ever putting in the effort. When he did make an attempt to work, it was half-hearted, filled with distractions, and done with little care. He believed that nature alone would do the job for him, that rain and sunshine would be enough to provide him with a prosperous yield, neglecting the reality that effort and diligence were the true foundations of success. As months passed, the harvesting season arrived. The village was alive with the sound of farmers reaping the rewards of their labor, the golden fields swaying gently in the breeze. Ramesh stood proudly in his field, which was filled with abundant, healthy crops. His hard work had paid off, and he enjoyed a bountiful harvest. Every stalk of grain stood tall, glistening under the sun, a testament to his dedication and perseverance. However, when Suresh arrived at his own field, his heart sank. The once promising land was now a wasteland. The crops he had neglected had withered and died, leaving only patches of dried soil and clusters of weeds that had taken over. Instead of the golden grains he had dreamed of, he saw only failure. As he walked through his barren fields, he felt a deep pang of regret. He had wasted his opportunities, believing that success would come effortlessly. Now, he had nothing left to harvest. Desperation set in as he fell to his knees, realizing that his laziness had led him to ruin. He wished he could turn back time, but it was too late. The season had passed, and he had to face the consequences of his inaction. While others celebrated their hard-earned success, Suresh was left empty-handed, learning a painful yet invaluable lesson. Success is not granted by luck or circumstance but earned through consistent effort and responsibility. Grandfather looked at Rohan and asked, "Tell me, Rohan, why did Suresh fail while Ramesh succeeded?" Rohan thought for a moment and replied, "Because Ramesh worked hard and used his time wisely, while Suresh wasted his time and ignored his responsibilities." His grandfather nodded. "Exactly. Intelligence and talent are like seeds. They hold potential, but without daily care, they will never grow into something meaningful. Just like a farmer must water his crops, remove weeds, and nurture the soil every day, a student must invest in learning, practice, and discipline. Success is not about waiting for the right time or assuming that things will work out on their own. It comes to those who take consistent action, who persevere even when it's hard, and who refuse to let excuses hold them back." Rohan finally understood his mistake. He had been like Suresh, wasting time, procrastinating, and assuming success would come effortlessly. The realization struck him deeply, and he felt an overwhelming desire to change. He reflected on all the opportunities he had squandered, the potential he had taken for granted, and the disappointment he had caused himself and those who believed in him. Determined to rewrite his future, Rohan made a firm decision to break free from his old habits and embrace a life of discipline, perseverance, and continuous self-improvement. 1. Created a study schedule. Rohan planned his daily routine and set aside dedicated hours for studying. 2. Minimized distractions. He reduced screen time, avoided unnecessary activities, and focused on self-improvement. 3. Set daily goals. Every day, he made a to-do list and ensured he completed all his tasks. 4. Adopted a growth mindset. He stopped fearing failure and started seeing mistakes as learning opportunities. 5. Maintained consistency. Even when he didn't feel motivated, he pushed himself to stay disciplined. At first, it was challenging. He struggled with distractions, felt overwhelmed by the workload, and doubted whether he could truly change. But with perseverance, he kept pushing forward, refining his study methods and staying committed to his goals. Slowly, he began to see a shift. His understanding deepened as he engaged more actively in learning. His grades steadily improved, giving him the confidence to tackle even the most difficult subjects. Beyond academics, his self-discipline began to reflect in other areas of his life. He became more organized, managed his time effectively, and developed a newfound sense of responsibility. When the next exam results were announced, Rohan had secured the top position in his class. The moment felt unreal, as though he had stepped into a dream. He stared at his report card, his eyes widening with disbelief before a slow smile spread across his face. His teachers praised him, recognizing not just his intelligence but his resilience, his determination, and the relentless effort he had put in to turn things around. His friends, once skeptical of his ability to change, now sought his advice, eager to learn from his journey. Some even asked him for study tips, seeing him not just as a peer but as a role model. But the most emotional moment came when he returned home. His parents, who had once been worried about his future, looked at him with immense pride and joy. His mother's eyes filled with tears as she hugged him tightly, whispering words of encouragement. His father patted him on the back, a proud smile lighting up his face. The transformation was complete, not just in his academic performance, but in his mindset and approach to life. He had proven to himself that discipline, consistency, and effort could change the course of one's destiny. For the first time, Rohan truly understood what it meant to earn success through hard work, and he vowed to never fall back into his old ways again. Grandfather smiled warmly and placed a reassuring hand on Rohan's shoulder. "Now you know, my boy," he said, "that true success isn't just about being smart. Intelligence is like a sharp tool, but without effort and discipline, it remains unused. It's about how you use your time wisely, how you stay committed to your goals, and how you transform knowledge into action. Success belongs to those who nurture their talents with hard work and perseverance." Rohan's story serves as a compelling reminder that true success is not defined by intelligence alone, but by the discipline, resilience, and unwavering effort one puts forth. Whether you are a student aiming for academic excellence, a professional striving for career growth, or an individual pursuing personal aspirations, remember, talent is merely the foundation, but perseverance and consistency build the structure of success. The decisions you make today, how you manage your time, how you overcome obstacles, and how you push forward despite challenges, will ultimately shape the future you create for yourself. So, what will you do? Will you continue to procrastinate, or will you take control of your destiny and start working towards success today? If you found inspiration in this story, take the first step by committing to self-improvement today. And remember, learning is a journey, not a destination. To enhance your English vocabulary and professional learning experience, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Together, we can grow, improve, and strive for success.